Next week Tane receives word that after talking to Perri's old neighbors and teachers, she hasn't been able to find anyone to corroborate Carl's abuse of Perri. She warns Tane that they need to be realistic by preparing for the fact Perri could be facing jail time. After stepping up to take charge of his father's funeral last week, Perri faces another difficult day next week as Carl's ashes are delivered. Determined to finish what he started, it's a bittersweet moment for Perri as he scatters the ashes at Flat Beach. When Tane comes home later that evening, he finds Perri heading out of the door with his bags packed. "I can't do this," Perri states as he rushes out. Tane chases after Perri, pointing out that he will be forever seen as guilty if he runs, but Perri thinks everyone has already made their mind up anyway. The sudden appearance of Rose brings Perri to his senses however, and he returns home with Tane. The next day Perri makes his way to the district court with Tane and Harper supporting him. As Tane is a witness, he will not be able to accompany them inside, and as Jane leads Perri away, Harper assures Tane that he's done all he can for him. Rose is the first to be called to the stand, and gives her account of what she witnessed at the crime scene. The prosecutor is keen to point out that Perri had fled the scene, and questions whether he had even attempted to help his father. Jane objects that the prosecutor is attempting to lead the witness. Rose goes on to confirm that she was aware of Carl's history of abuse, but the prosecutor reminds the court that Carl was found not guilty, and that he isn't the one on trial. Jane nevertheless points out that an avo was taken out on Carl, which Rose confirms was active at the time of his death, meaning he should never have been near the house. When Tane is called to the stand, the prosecutor goes in hard and forces Tane to admit that while he had seen the resulting wounds from some of Carl's abuse, he had never seen Carl lay a finger on Perri firsthand. The magistrate continues to warn the prosecutor that he's skating on thin ice with his questioning, and Tane eventually loses his cool as the prosecutor questions why Perri ran away, pointing out that the justice system had already let him down. As the court breaks for lunch, Tane apologizes for his outburst, with Jane admitting that they've got an uphill battle ahead of them. Suddenly, Jane receives a text message, and mysteriously rushes off. No one is expecting a positive outcome as the court reconvenes, and Perri is nervous when Jane is running late. In the nick of time, Jane rushes in and announces that she has just managed to confirm one final witness. With the magistrate's permission, Jane calls her final witness, Kaya Hayes, Akina Edmonds. Perri reels as he looks over and sees his mother, long thought to be dead, walk into the courtroom. A tearful Kaya explains to the court how Carl's jealousy towards her and Perri's relationship had led to anger and violence towards them. Kaya had tried to protect Perri as much as she could, but Carl had later issued her with a horrific ultimatum: either she walked out of their lives for good, or he would kill Perri. Knowing that Carl was deadly serious, as he promised to do it right in front of her, Kaya felt she had no choice but to flee to her native New Zealand. "Your life was in danger if I stayed," Kaya states as she looks over at Perri. "I love you more than anything in the world." As Jane finally gives her closing statement, the gravity of the situation is beginning to overwhelm Perri. As the court adjourns in order for the jury to decide on a verdict, Kaya rushes over to her son, having waited so long for this moment. "Get the hell away from me," a dazed Perri replies as he barges past. Everyone gathers at Salt, but when Kaya walks in with Harper and Jane, Perri decides to leave, telling Kaya that he wants nothing from her. As Tane goes after Perri, Jane explains that after Harper had put the word out to other social workers about Carl, a refuge had got in touch with Jane who remembered Kaya. Jane eventually tracked her down in New Zealand, but wasn't sure if Kaya would even make it in time. Meanwhile, Perri has a ton of questions but has no intention of talking to Kaya to find out the answers. Tane points out that Kaya's testimony could be the only thing that keeps him out of prison, as he urges Perri to at least have a conversation with his mother. But as Tane and Perri return to Salt, it seems any questions will have to wait, as Jane receives word that the jury has come to a verdict.